We're gonna be green this week, guys. I fucking
Yeah,
feel it.
I think we're due for a green week.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait to get it, but we're gonna end green.
All right, let's fucking go. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All the crooked hedge funds meet, all the big dogs on Wall Street. The SEC gets on the line. Stop the buying, we'll say we're blind. When the brokers froze, the game did stop, but retail rose up to the top to make a stand and hold the line with diamond hands. Beat them blind. The price did drop, they yelled, please sell. We held our shares through the depths of hell. Up and down to hell and back. Us diamond hands we never cracked. Through the storm our spirits swell. Against the suits we did rebel. In the fray we found our track. Solidarity on counterattack.
Thank you everyone for checking out our show. I'm Shaun Fitzy,
I'm Paulie.
And I'm Echo.
and this is the Echo Chamber. Today we're going to talk about another not exciting week, a little bit of Valentine's Day tin, and then we got a very interesting tweet from our chairman with another chairman. So we got a couple cool things to talk about. If you noticed, we were missing someone. Chuck is not with us today.
Yeah,
He's having a bit of a rough weekend, so you know our hearts go out to you, Chuck. We miss you, bro. He will be back next week, and he wanted us to tell everyone listening that he will be back next week. So yeah.
We miss you, buddy, but we're looking forward to having you back on the show.
Yeah, sorry for your loss, bro. Yeah. So okay. Other than the sad note, how's everyone doing? How you doing, Paulie?
Not too bad. We're doing okay. We've got a little bit of sickness running around the house right now, but otherwise we're doing okay. It's been a decent week basketball wise. So you know me, I'm happy when my basketball team's doing okay.
Yeah, I saw a dude come through my restaurant wearing full Purdue gear, and I wanted to take a.
Up.
Well, yeah, no, I will next time though.
There you go.
I wanted to take a picture and be like, "Look, Paulie," but then I thought that would be really weird and awkward, so I just kind of like let it go. I actually did take one of him walking away, but I didn't send it to you because I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I guess we maybe should also acknowledge that we were going to have a special guest this week, but we had some things come up that we had to push that. So with Chuck not being here, we're just going to blame him for that. No, I'm just kidding. The real reason is because we didn't realize that we were going to be recording this in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and so we wanted to give our guest the courtesy of rescheduling for that. So we will have our guest at a future date, hopefully next week. So stay tuned for that. So I just kind of want to acknowledge that for anyone who saw our teaser earlier this week. We will have a guest. It's just not this week. So sorry about that.
Did we just rug pull everybody?
A little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Hopefully you were not betting on Paulie market for that. So.
Well, yeah. That whole thing, Paulie market's interesting.
Yeah.
No, our guest is confirmed for next week, as confirmed as we can be. So I won't say who. We'll tease it again, and we'll get it. We'll get some run out of it, and then rug it again, and see how long we can go till we actually get one. Yeah, Roaring Sensei. It wasn't him. I'll just say that. I don't know. It's a bit of a running joke. He will. I will get Roaring Sensei on this show, because I love that guy. But
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun. Okay, cool. Echo, how you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. Just hanging out, enjoying my weekend off work, playing video games, and I don't really watch Super Bowl, so I haven't really been keeping up with any of that. But yeah, I'm here. I'm hanging out. Been
Nice.
another boring week for GameStop, that's for sure. I'm ready for the excitement to start. I'm ready for the volume to come in and everybody to get hype again. Everybody's just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, everybody seems in a mood out there, and it's, don't be in a mood. Just be here, enjoy it. It is what it is.
Although that's almost a bullish indicator in and of itself, isn't it?
It usually
Mhm.
is for me.
Yeah.
I like watching everybody get their panties in a twist, because for me it's like, something's got to be coming here soon,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like the shittier it gets out there, I think, the better. I'm just trying. I'm gonna manufacture some hype. Chuck and I we posted that Kitty's gonna tweet during the halftime show. Totally just made that shit up. Um, but whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 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 actually feeling like kind of a little bit more hyped about the coming weeks than I have been since 0109 miss. So um, I'm feeling it too. I'm starting to get a little excited again.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing it too much in the chart though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean the thing about that's kind of funny is, everybody has this tendency to get really excited when the chart is on an uptrend, but it's a little counterintuitive when you should be the most bullish is when it's going the opposite direction, right? Because that's a buying opportunity. And so, it kind of goes back to the old Warren Buffett quote, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And when you're in that pullback stage, as long as all of the indicators are still telling you everything in the price structure of the chart is still telling you that it is overall in a bullish pattern, that dip tells you that it's a time to be bullish. So, overall, that's what we're still seeing. So, um, you know, it's frustrating to watch, but
Yeah.
but the ironic thing about it is sentiment was sort of running at an all-time high back in early January,
Oh yeah.
but well, maybe not quite an all-time high, but maybe a recent high.
It was
But
high.
then, yeah,
Everyone was very pumped up. We were
yeah,
all very
yeah.
like looking like this. The price was looking good from November through to the end of
Hmm.
December. It was
Yeah,
looking very nice. So yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
were all.
Certainly
It
like
was
a
hype.
6 or 9 month high,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
and now it's been beaten down really, really well over the last month.
Oh yeah.
But but the chart hasn't done anything to make us really believe that all of that progress has been wiped out, right? It's really just been sort of a reset of those indicators to kind of bring the chart back into a healthy regression to the mean, bring it back into an accumulation stage for the whales, for the institutions, kind of reset that RSI, and sort of bring things back into more of a ready for takeoff sort of mode. So I don't know where that point is going to be. We've seen a lot of really good things get pointed out there on social media. Like I think Sierra Trades pointed out that we're getting really close to the 200-day moving average, and the last several times we've gotten very close, we've bounced off of, or we haven't even actually bounced off of it. We've bounced before we even got to it. Um,
Oh yeah.
but
Nice.
but I think if we were to actually touch it, that could, in theory, cause quite a violent bounce, as long as we don't cross
Yeah.
under it. I think if we were to cross under it and lose it, that could be very unfortunate. But I don't see any reason to believe that would happen, just with everything else that I'm seeing on the chart. I don't see that there would be enough sell pressure to cause that.
No, and I mean, first off, the volume isn't there at all still. We did 21
Right.
million last week, so that was up a little bit, but it's always fake if there's not volume. So,
Hmm.
I will point out that we are down 23% since we started recording the show. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's it sucks. I'm not saying it's us at all, but yeah, it's been about a month and a couple days since we started recording. That's about how long we've been selling off now. So Mondays have been especially brutal too. Like I was looking at that, it's like gap down Monday lately. And for all of these weeks, the damage seems to be done over like one day, you know, and then the rest of it is just flat, and they're attempting to bore us to
Right.
death. You mentioned RSI or indicators. RSI is at lows since we haven't seen since April 15th. So we're starting to see a lot of things touch levels that they were at in April, right before Kitty came back. Yeah, including RC tweeting with and we can get to that in a minute, but it's kind of interesting that RC posted that image with the crypto president from, I forget, I'm gonna mess up. Is it Argentina? It's somewhere in South America.
Oh,
Um,
Javier Milei.
yeah, he posted that image like April 10th or something like that. So it was pretty much kind of like where we are now on the chart, and maybe not price wise, but I don't know. It's just interesting. If something happens, it'll definitely be interesting that he just posted another picture with another crypto guy.
Yeah, so Javier Milei is the president of Argentina who has essentially gone in and turned around his country's economy by trimming the fat off of all of the government institutions. He's kind of got that famous clip where he's going through the whiteboard and saying "afuera, afuera, afuera," pulling all of these departments' names off of the board, and "afuera" is Spanish for out. Basically, throwing them out. And so I think I don't know what his relationship is to crypto. I think the other president who is known for kind of YOLOing everything into crypto is from like El Salvador or something like that. But
no, yeah, another South, yeah,
yeah,
like they made
yeah.
Bitcoin like their national currency or something, right? Or I don't know.
Right, yeah, and then there's been some recent drama along those lines as well, but yeah, Javier Milei was pictured with Ryan Cohen. I think it was it last year or the couple of
Yeah,
years
it was
before that?
April. It was
It
April,
was April. Yeah,
right before. Yeah,
right.
it
Two
was
two
right
weeks,
before we
like
started
two
going.
weeks before everything started running. So yeah, very
Yeah.
very interesting. And then just Saturday morning, Friday night, shortly after midnight, Ryan Cohen posts this picture of him and Michael Saylor, CEO of Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, ticker MSTR. And
Yeah.
for anyone who's not familiar, MicroStrategy literally just rebranded this week. Like they used to be MicroStrategy, now they are Strategy. They just had their earnings call this last week, renamed themselves the day of their earnings call. I think the renaming happened either pre-market or during the day, and then their earnings call was after market close that day. And some people are speculating that in a few years they're going to rename themselves again and just be called Strategy Bank, because their whole philosophy right now is to be basically a Bitcoin treasury company. And they're also an AI focused business, but their business model is heavily focused on using Bitcoin to leverage their bankroll. So they're using convertible bonds as a vehicle to do that. And I'm not an expert in how these work, but essentially what they are doing is they are diluting shares in the company to issue convertible bonds that can be later called to convert into shares. And when they receive money up front for those convertible bonds, they can use that money to buy Bitcoin. And basically in their offering agreement with their broker, they are basically making it a stipulation that they're going to use the funds from all the proceeds from these offerings to buy Bitcoin. They're basically saying, look, this is all we're doing it for. We're going to buy Bitcoin. This is the express purpose of it. And so it's essentially a collateralized offering where it's like a quid pro quo sort of thing. So
and it's worked out.
Yeah.
It's worked out for them in a way to where when they do an offering, like it seems to help their price. I mean, so that's like we want to talk about the chart a little bit. We want to talk about Saylor, and then there's some 10. But I think we're kind of talking about it. So, that tweet from Ryan Cohen, we can just kind of stick with that for a little bit. Is it's a pretty big deal. People want to say, oh, he posts pictures with people all the time, but that's just not true at all. He's posted a picture with him and his dad, but other than that, we got the picture with him and Icon. I said that wrong.
Carl Icon.
Who? Well, we'll just say now. We can. That could be all what the China stuff is about too. I don't know. It's very interesting that almost every
it's possible.
Yeah, every single China tweet came out in June 2022, which I think is right around the exact time that he posted the picture with Icon. So we just got another one of those, and he talked about AI, and he's meeting with a guy who has an AI focused company. So there's a lot of weird little things all kind of coming together. But so he posted that Friday night, late, right? Was it even?
Yeah, it was like around
Saturday?
12:30 or so.
Yeah, into Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I'm always interested in the time that he tweets too, because I think he you got to look at when he's tweeting, what he's saying, not necessarily context, because I think you brought it up too. Like none of his China tweets are about China. Like, right? What did you say?
Yeah, like I have considered the possibility that none of them have anything to do with China, the country.
Yeah.
Like it's entirely possible. Like all of his China tweets before the most recent one came during one single month, and then it just like the timing's very strange, right? And just, I mean, we've seen some patterns with the way that Ryan Cohen posts that just it makes you wonder what sort of messaging is out there. And I don't know that we've cracked it, but I feel confident in saying that it's likely that it's not necessarily about what it says on the surface.
Yeah,
right?
I'm confident it's not what it is. What he's saying,
it is not what it seems, right? Which is kind of funny because like that's even what like a Treehouse Brewery tweet said the other day in backwards lettering. So, like,
yeah, I haven't.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about Treehouse Tin though.
Yeah, and like I don't want to read into what they do too much because I really do believe that they're really just very, very good at marketing. But the thing is, they are so good at marketing that it makes you second guess. It really does make you second guess whether any of the 10 is worth believing, and that's just how good they are. So I tip my hat to them because that's how effective they are.
I'll never.
Ryan Cohen. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'll never forget that red bottle on a like a 10% day. That's the only time that I've actually considered that they might have some info. So the tweet came at 9:32 my time. So you said 12:30. And it's him looking happy. I don't know, every single picture. I love it. He's just one of us. He's just chilling. You can tell he's been having a good time. He's wearing an $1,100 pair of sneakers. I think Sky.
Yep. Prada sneakers.
Yeah, I found that he's wearing a black hoodie again.
Yeah.
I think that's
On the
in probably
fire
like
up, the Ryan Cohen has a black hoodie tin.
yeah, there's a lot of that. But I don't know. Maybe that's all he has. But I've seen some silly things like it's not real, it's AI. That's just ridiculous. Like,
Right.
why would
Yeah.
Ryan Cohen? And then on top of Cohen posting this image
Hmm.
with a huge Bitcoin bull, that same guy, Saylor, I keep wanting to call him
Hmm.
Saylor, reposted it in the next morning, and then there was a ton of crypto accounts that were reposting it as well. I want to try to find
Yeah.
who put that
Yeah.
in the Discord. Sent for glory.
Yeah. If Michael Saylor sneezes, the Bitcoin community knows it. So, like, people follow him if they're Bitcoin bros. They know his every move, and the guy is worshipped in the Bitcoin community. And there's
Like
even
that.
there's a website just dedicated to following every purchase that MicroStrategy makes, or I guess I should say Strategy since they've rebranded. But it's called SaylorTracker.com, and they follow the price of Bitcoin with a blue line, and then they put a green dot on every purchase that Strategy makes, and you can barely see the blue lines because there's so many green dots. And
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
So that brings
yeah,
up a good thing, which is, why is Cohen hanging out with Saylor?
yeah.
I'd be okay with him spending some of the money on Bitcoin. I don't know if I'd be right. I don't know if right now is the time that I would have suggested it, and I kind of don't think I really want him buying at all-time highs. And I think Ryan Cohen doesn't want to be buying at all-time highs unless he knows some shit. But so we looked into like just, in case he were to buy, what would we see in the company like if he were to buy crypto? And I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works with MicroStrategy, how their filings have, but I did look into how Elon and Tesla handled their purchase, and it was on their annual filing is where they reported that. But it also happened to be like within a few, like I think their filing was on February 8th, 2021, and the purchase, they don't have the exact date of when they purchased the Bitcoin,
Hmm.
but it was January. That's all it said.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah. So
uh,
there was
go
no
ahead.
specific date. They just were very generic about it. Um, and so I think one important distinction between that Tesla filing and what Strategy is doing is that every time Strategy makes a filing saying, "Hey, we bought this many Bitcoin for this exact price on this exact date," it's a condition of their offering agreement with their broker that is doing the offering of shares for them, that they do that. So, like, it's not necessarily an SEC requirement that every time a company buys Bitcoin that they disclose it through an 8K to their shareholders. Like that's not a legal requirement for every single company to do that. That is, in Strategy's case, that is an agreement that they have with their broker, that because it is a condition of the offering that they're doing, that's what they do every time they buy Bitcoin. But in Tesla's case, to your point, they just were like, "Hey, we've got some money, let's buy Bitcoin," and then they just mentioned it in their annual report, just sort of nonchalantly, like, "Hey, we just spent like $1.5 billion on Bitcoin. Is that cool with everyone?" Cool. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it was. So like I guess the question would come because it will. I would expect it to show up on a filing, but like, what is it? Do they got to do it right away? Do they have to wait for a quarterly, or can it be an annually filing? What like so Elon
yeah,
and Tesla didn't clear that up too much for us really, because
right,
the purchase
yeah.
happened like right before their annual meeting. So
Right. Yeah.
uh,
And I think the question really is going to come down to materiality. And that's really a question for Ryan Cohen and GameStop lawyers to answer. because they are ultimately the ones to decide, hey, is this a material change that is relevant to investors? Or does this fall within, the reasonable expectations of what everybody thought was going on behind the scenes? Or is it a small enough amount that nobody needed to know about it until we make our normal filings? Now, if if it represents or constitutes a material change, then they've got to notify everyone within I forget whether it's 2 or 5 business days. It's one of those two. But if it constitutes a material change, then they've got to make a timely notification through an 8K filing. But
that's
if
so
it doesn't,
vague, right? Like,
yeah. If it doesn't, then it can just wait until a regular quarterly or annual filing. Now, my personal preference would be that would have been that they had bought Bitcoin back in October when it was like $65,000. That would have
when
been
he said
fantastic.
YOLO.
Right? Yeah,
Right?
that would have been
Yeah.
great. But we don't see any evidence that would have happened. There's maybe some speculation out there that it could have been reflected as cash on the balance sheet. I don't know that that's necessarily true. It's probably more likely that it's just that, according to the reports that we've received, it was still sitting in cash on the balance sheet as it was said. But importantly, with the change in how the accounting standards changed going into this new fiscal year, if they have made any changes to how that money is being held, and if any of it is in digital assets like cryptocurrencies, we will see that on balance sheets going forward in this new fiscal year. So
Nice.
So that's going to be an important distinction. And with the way that accounting change happened, you're also able to record the change in market value of your digital assets as a realized gain or loss, essentially, on your balance sheet. So it's kind of an interesting distinction.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, there's a lot changing with this administration when it comes to crypto. And I think, just because he's hanging out with these guys doesn't mean he's buying crypto. I do like that Saylor has a Bitcoin embedded in his chest. Whatever he was wearing, it's kind of sick. I want one of those for GME. It's like a Stark arc reactor or whatever, but it's right in his chest. I want that shit. That's how he likes it.
Very Tony Stark of him.
Yeah. But it's sorry, just real quick. It's about who he's around, right? Like, obviously he's around people that are dealing with crypto. Like, I'm pretty sure all that Trump stuff in October was about crypto. That Sultan, like, he was at the crypto ball, back when he was with Sultan. Everything, all these people he's around have very similar things, and it's crypto related. And we have a whole infrastructure in place that doesn't have to do with Bitcoin and doesn't have to do with RC buying anything like that. So, I mean, he could be just working on, the future of what they call it, the future of gaming, and, whatever that is, tokenizing PSA cards, or, tokenizing not NFTs, but dividends. That would be pushing the button.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
there's a lot.
I think it is safe to assume that Ryan Cohen, Sultan Al-Mahdi, Michael Saylor, the common thread between all of them is blockchain.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of funny you mentioned, like, it would be nice if GameStop wasn't buying crypto at all-time highs, and in general, I would agree. However, one famous quote of Michael Saylor's is, "For the record, guys, I'm going to be buying at the all-time high forever." Like, his whole point is that if you believe that something is going to continue to be appreciating, like, think of like SPY, the index, the S&P 500. Like,
Yeah.
If you just kept buying it and buying it and buying it for the last 80 years, like you'd still be up. So so if you view Bitcoin in the same way like Michael Saylor does, then you're not just buying and holding, you're buying.
Yeah.
And so that's his particular outlook on it. And so I don't know how aligned Ryan Cohen is with him, but I just as soon as I saw that photo, I was just like, oh man, this feels significant. I don't know necessarily
Yeah.
how yet, but it feels significant. And when you put it all together, it makes me think of what's an exit strategy, right? Like we,
Yeah.
it makes me think back to Roaring Kitty and him saying, "What's an exit strategy? What's a drinking strategy?" Like we've got Michael Saylor who literally has no exit strategy for Bitcoin. Like he is the ultimate like buy and hold guy for Bitcoin. Like he wants to buy at all time highs forever. Roaring Kitty famously says, "What's an exit strategy?" Ryan Cohen, we've got shills out there saying, "Oh, he's about to dump his stock because he switched it all out of his LLC into his personal name." There is absolutely no basis for stuff like that. Like it that means nothing. It makes no sense to make that assumption. And so, like when you put Ryan Cohen and Michael Saylor next to each other, like that's just where my mind went immediately. I was just like,
It's
oh, well,
it's bullish. Like you
yeah,
don't put those guys. Those guys are together. It's bullish as hell.
yeah,
I don't care how, whatever. And you look at the chart. I don't know. Well, it popped, right? It's fake trading, but we popped, and I think the only news out there is that Sailor news. The market isn't really up overall in after hours trading, but we had a nice pop. So maybe we don't get like our ass kicked on Monday for once in the last couple month or so.
right, yeah.
Um,
Although let me check the
eh,
score of the game. Let's see. Is
30.
it still 34 to is it
Yeah.
still 34 nothing?
Yeah, they're whooping them. It's kind
Yeah.
of crazy.
Yeah,
So good.
so there's something called the Super Bowl indicator, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and as silly as it seems, based on the Super Bowl indicator, you would need the Philadelphia Eagles to win for it to signal a bull market,
Oh.
because traditionally, when a team from the NFC wins, it signals a bull market, and when a team from the AFC wins, it signals a bear market. I don't know what the success rate is on that, but it's just based on this thing called the Super Bowl indicator. That's what you need. So according to that, bull market is up 34 to nothing right now. So
So Kansas City was favored.
yeah,
They're getting whooped. So this may be a Kansas City shuffle. I don't know. I'm playing.
wouldn't it?
Okay.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. I
I mean,
can get on board with that, Tin.
so yeah, and then I guess
Yeah.
okay, that kind of wraps up the the tweet talk because we're gonna get into some tinfoil um with what's kind of I guess what's coming up, but um yeah, I think that's about it. That was an exciting tweet, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, I don't know. This part of February is traditionally just shitty for GameStop. So like I do want to say that ahead of time because there's some tinfoil for this coming week, but we're 2 weeks ahead of an OPEX, and really we're GameStop gets moving towards the end of February. If you're living just like the cycle life, like the 24th, 2021 February 24th, I want to say was one of the most amazing days ever. Um, ran just insanely in after hours, and that's kind of what hooked GameStop for me. So, the end of February has some history. Even last year, we did pretty good for it was almost a 20% run during the OPEC settlement week, the week following OPEC. So, um, traditionally, we're in a pretty bad period, but there's some interesting stuff going on. So I did want to. It's kind of dark pool related. Well, some of it is. So real quick, I wanted to touch on the dark pool totals, Paulie,
Yeah, sure.
because one of the tinfoils is that we're coming up to Valentine's Day will be the last day for institutional filings for anyone, over 5% between the start of October and the end of the year. So if someone crossed 5% of GameStop in 2024, or if they're above it, we would start seeing these filings at the latest on February 14th. So, in theory, we've hypothesized.
They would have to file their 13G or 13F, I think it is.
Yeah, one of those 13s. So we've hypothesized that possibly Roaring Kitty could be categorized as an institutional investor. And, if he had kept the 9 million shares that he had when we last saw him on June 13th, and had been buying, and he is this is all ifs, right? If he is the guy buying the 5,000 share blocks, or if he is buying 5,000 share blocks in the dark pool, because we don't know if they're buys or sells, he would have crossed right around October. So I don't know. How's the dark pool been looking when it comes to 5Ks, Paulie?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to look at it. So if he had reset to 0 on July 1st, which was the day that we got the first Chewy filing, and was accumulating in the dark pool 5,000 shares at a time, and this is it's a wild assumption here that every single 5,000 block was a buy order from that point forward. If every single one of those was a buy order from July 1st forward, including the 4.6 million share order on September 20th, then the 5% threshold would have actually been crossed on February 6th. So
I like that too.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. And so that particular theory doesn't require him to be an institutional investor.
No.
But it would put the 5th business day on, let's see, because the 6th would have been Thursday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be next Thursday. Would be the 5th business day.
So another item of possible tin for next week.
Right. Yeah. And then the other one that you were mentioning, if he had held on to the 9 million shares, and had started accumulating after the yellow update, right?
Yeah, anyone listening along, Paulie's got an insane spreadsheet that we're pulling from right now, where he has every single 5K ball between all time that's been tracked on this spreadsheet. Of course, we don't know if they're buyers or sellers, but he has it all tracked. So we break it down by month, any kind of way. So go ahead, Paulie.
Yeah. So if that were the case, if he had been accumulating from the day after the last yellow update, starting from 9,001,000, and then accumulating from there, then he would have crossed the 5% threshold on like October 10th. But so that theory would require him to be an institutional investor in order to not file until this point. And so that would require a lot of paperwork, would require him to be filing as an institution. But frankly, as someone with a bankroll over $100 million, I don't think it would be outside the realm of possibility to be able to qualify as an institutional investor. So it is something to consider. But to be clear, we don't have any concrete evidence that he is doing that. It's one of those speculation things where, it's one of those things where like, hey, what if? So
and I think
it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting information in the data to also make us think it's him. And there's a whole lot in his tweets that make me think it's him. But yeah, he could have crossed 5% in 2024. He'd have to be an institutional investor, like you're saying. So the drop dead date on that is this next week as well. We're also going to be getting just institutional investor. We're already starting to see it come in, and it's just kind of interesting that we're starting to see lots of institutions just continuing to add to their position in GameStop. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So we got that. There's other interesting things like last month, 1,470,000 shares were bought.
Yeah, that was a nice catch by you.
Yeah, we see it up and down. The numbers are slowing down a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff in there. He could just be sitting right under 5%. You had mentioned that. I don't think anyone, well, some people I'm sure, but most people I think out there listening are assuming that he's accumulating GameStop, or that he will be showing up with a very big GameStop position shortly. So we just think we might have figured out where he's doing it. And honestly, like, he might be doing it there so we can see it. He is giving us a lot of clues about signals and all that. So,
yeah, and what I really wanted to do with this dark pool data was to actually pull the bid ask data from all of the transactions over this time frame and try to infer whether each one of these was a buy or a sell order. But the data service that I was using, I haven't been able to get that to work. So, and I don't really have the time to I haven't had the time to get that to work on top of my day job. So, if anybody out there, if anybody out there has time for a side project, maybe hit me up.
Yeah, and that's cool. There's a lot of people out there that they're interested in this kind of stuff and this data. I love how interested the community is in data, and I appreciate you doing this spreadsheet. So there's some tin is we might get some filing from Kitty. So the other 10 that for this coming week, GME But Stallion pointed it out. It was pretty good that Valentine's Day is 69 trading days away from the actual V for Vendetta Day of November 5th. And
that's interesting. Let me look. Let's see.
Yeah, so we had so the only thing is that does not account for Jimmy on 0109, which I honestly think is better, because if that was his plan, for whatever, if something happens this coming week, his plan was to time it for 69 days from November 5th. He wouldn't have known about Jimmy Carter.
I would accept that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but again, when it comes to these dates, even if they're trying to do a T+ date, it's, but the T69 tinfoil is an old thing from Gherkin it back in the day. I think it's more like we're looking at 2 T35 cycles possibly, and that's why 69 trading days seems to pop off after certain things.
It's like a 35 plus a 34 or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and you know how that shit goes. So it's
it
could be 2 days before, 2 days after. So, that's a little interesting. Tinfoil, just the whole V for Vendetta thing. The stream card from Roaring Kitty that has all kinds of cool shit. And so tinfoil, I've been down on tinfoil. Talking about since 0109, we were, I'll just speak for myself, but I was very in on that tinfoil and all of the live stream time tinfoil and all that shit. I thought, man, I got this figured out. So, well, I didn't really, because you never do, but it didn't happen on 0109. Since that point, and the chart has been shit. Greg fucked the cake, and it just went to shit after that. I have not been in on 10, but this past week it started to kind of tickle the fancy a little bit, I think.
You want some other numbers on Valentine's Day real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just using my measuring tool on TradingView real quick. And so I measured backwards from Valentine's Day, and it just so happens if you go to December 5th, that is 47 trading days and 71 calendar days. So you get your 741 right there.
Yeah, Rome. He's out there somewhere. He just loves that. He is all over that 741 tinfoil. So
It's everywhere, man.
yeah, it really is. I almost feel like it's like some kind of natural pie kind of thing, you know? Like, is it? Why is 741 always in our face now?
If we didn't have Buck the Bunny as a mascot, then I think confirmation bias would be our official mascot of the GME community.
Well, we're an echo chamber.
Right.
That's what we do. We confirm our biases.
Totally.
That's actually, I think I wrote that somewhere. Confirming bias since 2021.
Yeah. I think that's on our Podbean website.
Yeah. So, last week there was some good 10 with the stream card stuff that was for Thursday. Some good 10 with the basketball swaps and trade deadline, and all that kind of like was lining up for 2-6. The other 2-6-10 was that it was split mode on 6-2.
Yeah.
So
it was a little too perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah, all of that was perfect. And I mean, who knows? That was still only one trading day ago at this point.
Yeah.
2, I guess. Well, so you know how this shit is. Nothing with our market settles. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any of the other 10 that was out there for the week. I know Commish. Oh wow, I'm gonna mess his name up. Wally the Commish, I think is who it is, but he had some good tinfoil about the mic and the flag and the music being the Super Bowl. It's a pretty good observation too. So I don't know. I like it. I feel like things are starting to warm up again for us. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you got anything on the tinfoil side for next week that you want to throw out there?
Let's see.
I
feel
we're
like I
saying this
had.
like it's serious.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I had something in mind earlier, but I'm not thinking of it right now.
Yeah. So the stream card has V for Vendettas flicking the dominoes. That's where I was going with that. So that's
Right. Yeah.
White Rabbit had he brought that up that Valentine's Day. He's in on Valentine's Day 10, I think is how he put it. And fuck it, I'm in too, man. Like I'm ready for some excitement again. I'm ready for the fucking shills to stop talking to us on Twitter about nonsense.
I'm ready to be heard again.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that could probably bring us to the end. A little bit shorter, maybe. I'm not sure. We miss Chuck. We'll have him back next week. We appreciate everyone. Like kind of say, we appreciate everyone for listening to the show. It's been down weeks for GME, but we still are finding our audience out there, and we're getting all kinds of fun interactions with you guys. So please keep that up. Come tell us that you listen to the show. Go like the show on Apple or whatever. I'm putting these up on YouTube as well, so go check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean we're getting like way more than we expected. So honestly, thank you everyone for listening, for your support. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the great feedback that we're getting. So seriously, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And if you've got any suggestions for content that should be on the show, send it our way. We really do read the comments that come our way. So
we read them, we share them in our little group chat that we have. We appreciate it all. So all of it, like for real. Anyways, all right, cool. Well, thanks, Paulie, for hanging out. Thanks, Echo. I know it's a little late for you, bro. Thanks everyone for checking out our show. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Right. And it's a wrap.
Yeah, it was good. I need to get better at jumping in. I don't like cutting people off, and so even if I have things I want to say, I just don't say it a lot of times.
If you pipe up at all, bro, we'll shut the fuck up if you pipe up at all. I promise you.
Yeah. We know if you got if you speak up, it needs to be said.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, because I know a lot of people are watching the NFTs and the crypto side of things and the potential that that has for GameStop. And so when you look at like macro events, like for me, looking at David Sachs and his press release earlier this week, they said that there's a bill getting ready to come through, get passed, where it gives regulation for crypto and banks and how all of that is supposed to work together. So then you look back at RC's tweets and him talking about Trump, and you look at all these pro crypto people meeting and getting together over the last few weeks, and it's like, okay, well, we're all waiting for something and we're hoping for an NFT or crypto drop. Well, there's things going on in the background on the macro level that could play into that. And right now it's just a waiting game.
Roaring Kitty sent out a tweet, a man leaning forwards in his seat. The markets broke, the stock did rise. Next, what he did was a great surprise. He told us all he'd do a stream at 12 o'clock, but wasn't seen. Then lady came all beat and bruised. He fucked the media, and we were amused. Voice was chilled, whispers grew in the anxious wait. Would he speak to seal their fate? A tweet broke through, his meme on form. Markets surged with a frenzied storm. GameStop ripped